Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we have for you. XRP listing. We got Binance Japan in the news and Gary Gensler to testify before Congress. We got it for you. CEO of Grayscale. We got Tether making moves. USDTether. You're going to want that. Ripple has been the solution for years. We're going to show it to you. How about BRICS currency? Who's going to be the big winner? And India in a $50 billion market. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, cryptocurrency market cap is at $1.13 trillion, and it's off by 1.3%. Bitcoin now 27,100 plus. We see 1,700 slightly over for Ethereum. 82.9 billion plus for Tether market cap. That's in the news today. 52-cent XRP, which is off by 2.1% on the 24-hour. Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. Remember this? Flare naming service, where you can get your own Flare domain name. Well, look at what's going on here. Twitter giveaway, ladies and gentlemen. 10 free .flare domains. The contest rules here. Twitter X giveaway contest. We will give away 10 premium domains to 10 of our followers who comment on the pinned post. We will complete the giveaway on September 15, 2023. To enter, you must follow and comment on the pinned post. And I will put that link to that post underneath of this video for you to find as well. An exclusive Flare card NFT here, domain Flare card. That thing is so cool looking. We are introducing our exclusive domain Flare card NFT available to all users with .flare domains minted using our service. Oh, this gets better too, by the way. This animated Flare card NFT will grant you access to the soon-to-be released website builder. This is the final piece to the puzzle right here, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to be able to buy a domain, and starting October 1st, you're going to be able to build a website, a template for building your own website with that Flare domain, bringing you A to Z, full circle, to use a functional website with your domain from Flare. Wonderful. Wonderful what these guys are doing in such short order. Shout out to all of them that are working so hard. Link for Flare naming service underneath the video. Right here we see Hong Kong-based decentralized finance protocol Linear Finance has announced the listing of XRP on its trading platform. The move occurred over 1 month after XRP secured victory in the SEC lawsuit, leading to a flurry of listings, and I expect to see even more to come. And here we see Binance Japan plans to nearly triple the number of digital assets on its platform by offering 100 assets for trading. The Japanese exchange plans to collaborate with local exchanges and market makers to secure liquidity. Love hearing that. Meanwhile, in the United States, after multiple losses mounting up for the SEC and Gary Gensler, will be taking the hot seat to testify in front of Congress. Shout out to Eleanor Terrett for this. Says that the SEC Chairman Gary Gensler has agreed to testify before the Banking GOP Senate Banking Committee on Tuesday, September 12th, and before the Financial Services Committee in the House of Representatives on Wednesday, September 27th. So we got two different times that Gary will be in front of Congress. We will bring that to you when it happens. Very quickly here, I want to play this clip here of the CEO, Michael Sanderson here from Grayscale, taking a victory lap. Take a listen to this.
This is a pretty big win for you.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
What does this mean for Grayscale now? What's the next step?
Well, this is, more than a year-long process. Last June, the SEC denied our application to convert GBTC to an ETF. We immediately filed a lawsuit. Went through briefs, went through oral arguments, and to yesterday receive an opinion from the court that unanimously had 3 judges all rule in our favor, vacating the SEC's denial order is a huge victory for us, for our investors, for really the crypto community and the investment community as a whole.
Yeah, they called this arbitrary and capricious, the SEC's decision to deny this, just based on the idea that the futures market and the spot price were pretty closely linked, and it should be allowed to go ahead with that. The SEC says it is still looking into it. It does have the opportunity to appeal this, either to a full slate of judges on the D.C. court or to the U.S. Supreme Court. What happens? What could that mean? Because it could be an expensive fight to continue.
Sure. So today marks day one of a 45-day process where the SEC can request a rehearing. We really have to be patient now and follow the federal rules of appellate procedure here during that time period. And ultimately, the court will issue a final mandate that will detail the operational next steps.
Which means what from any investors in Grayscale or beyond? What are you looking at? What should they?
Yeah, I mean, in the interim, during this 45-day period, our lawyers are working, constructively, proactively with the SEC to pursue next steps as expeditiously as possible. We have to ensure that no one, especially the SEC, is not losing sight of the fact that there are nearly 1 million American investors who own GBTC today. So the patience that they've had inflicting any further harm on them, holding them back from bringing GBTC further into the regulatory perimeter would be a really missed opportunity and really directly violate the SEC's mandate.
Everything goes your way, how quickly could you get the ETF up and running?
Well, it really, again, depends on working proactively with the SEC. Throughout this process, we have had what we would think of as a professional disagreement with the SEC. The very foundation of the Grayscale business is making, crypto accessible through existing rules and regulations here in the U.S. And so we want to maintain that posture with the SEC, not only through this decision, but on a go-forward basis. GBTC is just the first of many products that Grayscale has that all intend to eventually convert into ETFs and have a whole family of digital asset ETFs here in the U.S.
What's the relationship like? You can describe it as a professional disagreement, but everybody's spent a lot of time on both sides of this, and that can lead to some contentious relationships.
Well,
what would the SEC like to see? What can you show them, perhaps, to maybe sway them in your favor?
Well, I think we really have to point back to the court order yesterday. The court order, simply put, said, we agree with you. We agree with you, Grayscale, right? We have demonstrated, multiple times that there's an inextricable tie between the Bitcoin futures and the Bitcoin spot market, and the fact that the SEC has greenlighted multiple Bitcoin futures products but not spot products really does underscore that arbitrary and capricious decision-making that they had denying GBTC's conversion.
And there you have it right there. And listen, I have to say, they should be able to have access to these things. And I tell you, when are we going to see the XRP brought back in as their own fund as well, and have a fund for XRP? Because it is an asset that has clarity, legal clarity, right? But I'm sure the SEC feels quite differently about that. Meanwhile, right here, stablecoin issuer Tether has added Britannia Bank and Trust, a privately held bank operating in the Bahamas. The processed dollar transfers. Danny Minter down here says, operating in the Bahamas, what could go wrong? Look, I'm watching, shout out to you, Danny. I'm watching USDTether closely as we approach the G20 meeting here next month, early next month, just a week or so, a week and a half away. And the U.S. move towards global collaboration on crypto and stablecoin regulation. You have to wonder where all of this lays with Tether, because there has been an enormous amount of shade and struggle for Tether to be in compliance. And that is a conversation that has been on the table for quite some time. Now, I'm not saying they're doing wrong. I'm just saying there is an enormous amount of questions about their reserves. There always has been. It has been stated very clearly that there has not been the proper traditional approach to auditing the reserves of Tether. So there's always been this shade over it. It says the access struggle here for Tether now. The privately held Tether has struggled to obtain and maintain access to the traditional financial system. In 2017, Wells Fargo ended its role as a correspondent bank through which customers in the U.S. could send money to Tether and Bitfinex's bank in Taiwan. Still, Prior to the closure of New York-based Signature Bank in March, some clients of Tether were able to pay for stablecoins by sending dollars to one of Tether's banking partners, Capital Union Bank and Signature Bank. The chief technology officer here of Tether told Bloomberg in March that its banking partners include Bahamian lenders Deltec Bank, which has 2 parking spots in the Bahamas, for an $83 billion plus company they're handling the reserves for, and Capital Union Bank, while Cantor Fitzgerald is a custodian of Tether's Treasury bills holdings. Again, the questions here are valid, but what comes of it, we don't yet know. We know in 21 that Tether reached a settlement with New York Attorney General over allegations that it lied about its reserves and hid losses. So that's a whole nother area that was dealt with in 2021. We are watching it closely, ladies and gentlemen. And I tell you, I think, I had a question, or conversation, really good conversation with Big Skinny this morning, and we were discussing the idea of whether Tether is KYC, AML, end-to-end. I don't believe that it is. And if it isn't, I believe that's going to be a problem going on the go-forward basis when you get global collaboration for crypto and stablecoin regulation. We shall see how this all unfolds here. Now, meanwhile, I do want to share this here. This is a reminder for those that don't know, the U.S. path to faster payments here. Since 2017, the Federal Reserve acknowledges Ripple as a solution for real-time cross-border payments, capable of substantially lowering the high fees associated to international payments. This is a reminder that the Federal Reserve and the faster payments business has been going on for years, and Ripple is cited as a solution all the way back to 2017. This is what I originally found that made me so fascinated by what this technology, what the company Ripple and the digital asset technology can do for the financial world when I found this in 2017. And I have done nothing but keep going ever since, as you know. Now, this is a quick overview here from Ken Oling, the founder of Mel DeFi Neobank, who outlines the complexity of BRICS to choose a common currency and just who the winner may be here.
Had they come out and said, we are planning a single currency for all of our members to trade with in the same way that the World Bank and the IMF, they demand and they trade in dollars and to a lesser extent in euros, that would have been such a powerful message to all of the global South as a way to kind of rally behind it. Now they have to say, okay, do we trust in do we trust in our own currency? Do we trust in Chinese currency? Do we trust in Brazilian? What currency are we going to use in this particular situation? And it becomes a lot more complex, a lot more of a slippery slope. As soon as they touch any of the G7 or the G14, then they're going to request either euros or dollars. So no, I think that they missed a massive opportunity to point their sort of compass in a specific direction. And yeah, from my perspective, it's going to be very, very slow going for the BRICS. I do believe there is obviously de-dollarization, but not in the same way as I had imagined if they would have announced something. Now, I think the big winner here is not the dollar and it's not the BRICS, but it's crypto. Had they come
and listen, I think this is such a valid point. This speaks to what I've talked about since the announcement that the BRICS nations invited, and starting in January 24, we're going to see Iran, UAE, and Saudi Arabia join BRICS. And they made the declaration as well that they weren't going to launch a BRICS currency at this time, but they were all going to begin using their own national currencies much more for trade over the US dollar. And this is where I think Ken Oling points out this is where crypto wins, right? And shout out to Chad Steingraber for posting that as well. When I point to that, the reason I believe that he's right there is because, look, by default, if those countries are going to start using their own dollars more than they normally use the USD, then you're creating a deeper demand to solve the problem for friction that XRP is actually designed to solve. Think of it. Think of the corridors between Argentina and Brazil, right? Think of it between India and Argentina and other currency pairs. The pairs are endless. And now that you're going to have this deeper trade happening in those national currencies, we know that no other country wants to really hold someone else's dollars. There is a huge demand here for a bridge asset to come and play, and it could start by solving the more exotic or corridors that are in trouble. Like, I think we all know that Argentina, I believe it's Argentina that has a real issue with inflation right now. So think about anything that it's paired to and how XRP could insulate that issue of their dollars and still allow Argentina to trade with their own money. I just think it's something to really pay close attention to, as this is here. Ripple makes big moves. On-demand liquidity now live in India. It's a $50 billion remittance arena. $50 billion remittance arena. And when I look back here, and you just look at the market cap is at 27 billion plus. You're talking about really more than double. My goodness. I mean, that is a massive, massive market from just India, right? This is the massive moments and markets that Ripple have been building and strengthening and deepening the relationships for. And I believe it's all going to come home to harvest here over the next couple of years as we see CBDCs rolled out and regulation. And then here's a reminder on the ISO 20022 front. Don't forget that it has been said in November 2023, SEPA will migrate to ISO 20022 standard, a date that is receiving worldwide attention. So look, the standardization movement, right, to tokenize and digitize into the fourth industrial revolution is well underway. And it's not just happening in a select few countries. This is happening around the globe. All eyes now pointed towards G20 and what we'll get from that. That's going to do it for me. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.